Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital spoilers, everything has changed after Michael Corinthos' dramatic homecoming, particularly in regards to his custody dispute with Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. Before Willow Tate Corinthos or Drew Kane could stop it, Michael swooped in at the end of the 2025 Nurses Ball, grabbed Wiley after his adorable kids performance and took off. According to GH spoilers, Michael will bring the children to Carly Spencer's residence the week of May 26th to 30th. The children are expected to have a great time reconnecting with their father and his side of the family, and it appears like Amelia will be waiting for Michael and Wiley at her grandmother Carly's for a sleepover. As everyone celebrates his significant return, Michael will make his reunion rounds over the coming days, getting back in touch with loved ones and family. He is scheduled to speak with Sasha Corbin, his hidden baby mama. Next week, when Michael will meet Sasha at the Quartermain estate, sneak peeks of the pictures have appeared. Furthermore, General Hospital spoilers suggest that he will also need to beg for a favor. Sasha and Jason Morgan have put forth a lot of effort to hide the one-night stand between Michael and Sasha, which is what caused the baby bump she is currently carrying. Despite knowing the truth, they and Michael have been telling everyone that Jason is Sasha's baby daddy. Having said that, it will only be a matter of time until the truth about these two is revealed after seeing the preview image from next week, which shows Sasha tenderly gazing into Michael's eyes. Michael is unlikely to ask Sasha to stay quiet about their one-night affair that occurred when he was still with Willow though. Now that Michael is back in the picture and prepared for his court hearing on June 2nd, the odds are stacked against Drew and Willow. This argument won't hold water since, despite Drew and Willow's attempts to portray him as an absentee father, Michael was quick to gather his kids and take leadership as soon as he was able to get back on his feet, especially considering the current incidents involving Willow and Drew. However, fans are reminded by General Hospital spoilers that everything would be completely upended if it were revealed that Michael is indeed the father of Sasha's child. There is a lot at risk because Willow wants exclusive custody of the children. It seems sense that Sasha will grant Michael's request, but how long will this secret be kept a secret? Cheers star George died earlier this week, leaving General Hospital's Chris McKenna without a buddy. He therefore enjoys picturing himself sitting in heaven surrounded by his loved ones. Find out why by reading on. George was a frequent patron of a bar on screen. The majority of viewers of the American sitcom on NBC will recall George went drinking a lot of beer and saying funny one-liners. He even stole an ashtray to give to his wife on her birthday in a scene from season 4. He is remembered by many as being funny, a little bit wicked and making people laugh. Nonetheless, Chris McKenna likes to consider the man who helped him earn his first leading role in a film to be a family man. In his most recent homage to Went, he remembered, "I shared a picture of my son napping on my chest a few weeks ago." In response, he sent a photo of his baby boy resting on his from the early 1980s. "I'll visualize him in the heaven he desired, even while the rest of the world sees him sitting on a barstool in the sky." Fans react to the imagined heaven. Fans of GH and Cheers took to the Instagram post's comments section. Oh, one of them wrote, "What a lovely story. I appreciate you sharing it. It makes me wish that I had the good fortune to call him a friend." Many ABC viewers are comforting the real Jack Brennan in his grief. Others, however, like to picture a family-filled heaven. "I'm so sorry for the loss of your dear friend, who we mostly knew affectionately as Norm," said another follower. Others enjoy the tribute's endearing aspects. "He was a real legend, therefore it's very touching that you told us this story. I hope you find comfort and serenity in your lovely memories." One of them wrote, "R.I.P. sir. Heaven just got a little louder and funnier." Chris McKenna envisions a family-filled paradise. In honor of George Wendt, actor Chris McKenna is not the only one who has positive memories of George. The family that George left behind received condolences and recollections from Ted Danson, John Ratzenberger, Rhea Perlman, and Melissa Joan Hart. Many people on X, meantime, reminisced about their own humorous experiences with George in the pub. As of right now, Chris appears to be among the few who will recall him as a family-oriented man. 3 children were reared by him and his spouse, Bernadette Burkett. He was a stepfather to 2 other people as well. No matter how deeply buried the truth was, Michael had always known that it would eventually surface. But sitting across from Sasha in the dark cafe, he was forced to do the unimaginable. He asked her to keep the most important secret of their lives a secret. The stakes had never been higher as the custody dispute over their son, Ethan, was coming to a head. Everything Michael had battled for, every sleepless night, every legal bill, every moment of fear, would come crashing down if the court found out that he wasn't Ethan's biological father. He truly loved Ethan, but love wasn't always important to the law. It was concerned with cold, harsh facts, blood, and paperwork. Sasha avoided looking at him as she absently stirred her coffee. Every time they texted about child support or visitation, she could sense the tension between them and knew this moment was imminent. But it became genuine when you heard the words out loud. She said softly, "You're asking me to lie." Not as an accusation but as a factual statement. Michael leaned forward and spoke in a quiet, urgent voice. The unspoken name hovered between them like a ghost. "I'm asking you to protect Ethan. If the court finds out, they could grant full custody to his biological father. Do you really want that? Do you think he would be a better parent?" Until now, Sasha had never been honest with Ethan about his paternity, and the man in issue had never expressed interest. Until he spotted a chance. With a sharp exhale, she combed through her hair. "This isn't just about Ethan. It's about us, about the lies we've been living. What happens when he's older? When he starts asking questions?" "He'll understand," Michael urged. "He'll know I stayed. I fought for him. That's what matters." Sasha wasn't so sure, though. Over time, secrets had a way of becoming heavier and more twisted, until they crushed the individuals who held them. It had been simple for her to pretend that Michael was Ethan's father for years, until it wasn't. Until the man who had left her before the birth of Ethan abruptly declared his desire for rights. Until DNA testing was ordered by the court. Before Michael, the guy who had reared Ethan as his son, urged her to help him maintain the deception while staring at her with desperate eyes. Between them, there was a hush that was heavy with unsaid anxieties. People laughed, automobiles honked, and life went on outside as like this moment wasn't shattering them. Sasha remembered how Ethan called Michael Dad without hesitation, how he ran to him when he got home, and how he smiled. She considered the possibility that one day, he may turn to face her and inquire as to why she had deceived him. Knowing that this was just the start of another dramatic chapter in the lives of their beloved characters, the people of Port Charles watched the drama unfold with bated breath. When Michael brings Wiley to Carly's house, Drew and Willow become enraged. Michael Corinthos realized he was going too far the minute he pulled up to Carly's house with Wiley in the back seat. His frustration had reached a breaking point, but the weight of his choice still weighed heavily on him. He had attempted for months to strike a balance between his respect for Willow's intentions and his allegiance to his mother, but the ongoing conflict had grown intolerable. Wiley chattered eagerly from his car seat about meeting Grandma Carly, blissfully oblivious to the maelstrom that was building around him. Michael forced a smile as he unbuckled Wiley and added, "You're going to love it, buddy. She has really missed you." Since Michael's call, Carly had been pacing uneasily inside. She smoothed her shirt and swung the door open, almost jumping when the doorbell rang. Her breath caught when she saw Wiley smiling up at her with his mother's eyes. "Grandma!" Wiley leaped into her arms with a yelp. Carly blinked back tears as she gave him a firm hug. She whispered, "Oh, my dear boy," and kissed his hair. Then her eyes strayed to Michael, her happiness tinged with anxiety. "Is Willow aware of his presence?" With a quick sigh, Michael entered. "No. I also don't give a damn." Carly felt sick to her stomach. "Michelle." He raked a hand through his hair and said, "I'm done acting like this is okay. His grandmother is you. You adore him. Why should a legal technicality prevent you from entering?" The warmth of Wiley and Carly's arms prevented her from arguing, even though she wanted to remind him of the tenuous truce they had been maintaining. Rather, she gave a rigid nod. "Just be ready for the consequences." Willow's and Drew's rage. Willow Tate's phone buzzed as she was halfway across town going over Wiley's school documents. "Just saw Michael and Wiley at Carly's," a friend texted. "Is everything all right?" Her blood froze. "No." He refused. She called Michael right away, but the call went straight to voicemail. Then with trembling hands she called Drew. Willow? Seeing the fear in her voice, Drew responded. She coughed out. Michael took Wiley to Carly's. Without informing me. After a beat of silence, Drew's tone became dangerously serene. We'll meet at your house. Right now. Drew arrived at her door 20 minutes later, his jaw strained. Willow's fingers were twitching together, and she appeared pallid. How was this possible for him, she muttered. After all the court battles, the agreements, everything we've gone through to protect Wiley. Drew's eyes became dark. Because he has always prioritized Carly. Willow couldn't ignore the words, even though they hurt. Even when it went against Willow's desires, Michael had always been ferociously protective of his mother. However, this was unique. This betrayal occurred. He's coming back, Drew stated resolutely. Now. An altercation at Carly's. It was a stressful drive to Carly's. Willow's thoughts were racing as she gazed out the window. What if Wiley felt angry? What if Carly had already told him many tales of their unfairness? What if? Drew's voice broke through her whirlpool of thoughts. Hey! Squeezing her hand, he reached across. We'll take care of this. She swallowed hard and nodded. It should have been reassuring to see Wiley's laughing float through the open window as they pulled up. Rather, it caused Willow's chest to hurt. With Drew at her heels, she strode to the door and gave it a jarring knock. When Carly opened it and saw them, her face faltered. Willow. Drew. Where is Wiley? Willow's voice was shaking as she demanded. Carly stated cautiously. I'm in the kitchen having a snack. He has Michael with him. Drew took a step ahead. You weren't entitled. Carly's chin went up. He is my grandson. Willow shot back, her voice cracking. And he's our son. When you see him, you have no say in the matter. Not after everything. Michael emerged in the hallway with Wiley balanced on his hip before Carly could react. The young boy's expression brightened. Mom! Uncle Drew! When Wiley grabbed for Willow, her rage briefly subsided. Instinctively, she took him and held him. We're going, Drew stated icily as he met Michael's gaze. And we will take legal action if you ever pull something like this again. Michael's mouth clenched. You have no right to dictate. Enough. They were all quieted by Willow's outburst. Wiley's smile dimmed as he recoiled in her embrace. She lowered her voice and drew a trembling breath. Not in his presence. There was a profound quiet in the room. Carly sighed at last. I never meant to cause trouble, Willow. Willow remained silent. She turned to face the door after repositioning Wiley in her arms. Before they departed, Drew gave Michael one final warning glance and followed. Repercussions and increasing tensions. When Willow got home and put Wiley to bed, she found it difficult to remain calm. Sensing the tension, he had remained silent ever since they left Carly's. Is Daddy having problems? As she tucked him in, he inquired quietly. Her heart hurt. No, my love. Sometimes adults simply don't agree. She went back to the living room where Drew was pacing after he had fallen asleep. This cannot occur again, he declared right away. Willow lowered down onto the couch and muttered. I know. However, what do we do? What will happen if Michael is prepared to disregard our choices at this point? Drew sat next to her looking serious. We return to court. We ensure that the custody arrangement is flawless. Willow shut her eyes. She was worn out by the thought of another court case. However, what options did they have? Michael, meantime, was nursing a drink at Carly's, his guilt increasing by the second. You ought to have spoken with them first, Carly muttered. And they would have said no, Michael murmured. They never say no. Carly looked at him. How much, Michael? Was losing their trust worth it? He didn't respond. Nina's participation. Through an innocent talk with Carly, Nina Reeves learned about the drama the following day. Seeing her chance, she pretended to be worried and contacted Willow. When Willow took her call, Nina murmured softly, I heard what happened. Are you okay? Willow tensed. Nina, thank you for your concern, but this is between Carly, Michael, and us. Nina let out a sigh. I simply detest Wiley being in the center. I might be able to mediate. Overhearing, Drew grabbed the phone. Nina, good try. But before she could answer, he disconnected up. But we don't need your help. Nina gave herself a sly smile. Perhaps it was time for her to advance her own goals if Carly and Michael were out with Willow and Drew. The tipping point. Days went by, yet the anxiety remained high. Willow didn't respond to Michael's attempts to contact her until he admitted his error. Meanwhile, Drew had already contacted their attorney. The last straw came when Wiley began to inquire every day about when he would next see Grandma Carly. "Why am I unable to leave?" he would sulk. "Daddy said I could." Willow felt like every inquiry was a stab to her heart. Not only had Michael gone too far, but he had also prevented her from setting limits without endangering Wiley. When Drew reached his breaking point, he went to the Metro Court to face Michael. According to General Hospital previews, Lulu Spencer received what she wanted, and now she must cope with the consequences. However, now that the proverbial poop has hit the fan, Lulu will have to face the consequences of her actions. She had been aching to inform Dante Falconeri about the long-lost son he had but was unaware of for some time. In an attempt to learn more about the whereabouts of her daughter, Charlotte Cassadine, Lulu broke into her Uncle Martin Gray's hotel room at the Metro Court in early March. Rather than learning about it, she was blown away to learn of the adolescent pregnancy and adoption of Brooke Lynn Quartermaine Chase. She also found out that the baby's father was Dante. Lulu practically made it her mission to find the truth. After arguing with Brooke Lynn and tricking Cody Bell into disclosing confidential information, it was finally determined that Giovanni Gio Palmieri might be the baby boy in question. Then Lulu looked into Brooke Lynn's birth and the history of his adoptive mother. Finding the truth was something Lulu was determined to do. She also made a valiant attempt to find someone who would encourage her to tell Dante, but when she turned to Laura Collins and Carly Spencer, they both told Lulu to stop. Cody was ultimately her ally, but it appears that he is already beginning to feel remorse for his part in this. The consequences and agony of Joe's life being turned upside down were unavoidable, even if she didn't want things to turn out the way they did. Although Lulu wasn't at guilty for Joe's method of learning, things would not have turned out the way they did if she had taken a day break from her plan for Nurse's Ball. GH teasers for Thursday, May 29th indicate that a showdown between Dante and Lulu is planned. It appears that Dante won't be very happy when he learns of Lulu's involvement in all of this. Dante is already angry that Brooke Lynn withheld all of this information from him. During the Friday, May 23rd episode, he came out into the foyer and aggressively confronted Ned Quartermaine, Olivia Falconeri, and Sonny Corinthos, asking them if they were aware that Gio was his son. In all honesty, none of them did, but fans can bet that any possibility of a romantic reunion between the two would be eliminated once he discovers that Lulu did and kept it from him. The super couple's admirers have watched as they gradually become closer. Although they both acknowledged having feelings for one another, Dante urged Lulu to wait a while because he was still grieving Sam McCall's passing. Given the situation, that sounded reasonable, and Lulu was more than happy to give Dante some space, especially after he had informed her he still loved her. But when Dante learns how far Lulu went to reveal Brooke Lynn's secret, will all of the progress these two have achieved be undone? Furthermore, she never at any time included Dante in the conversation. Despite spending 4 years in a coma, Dante might feel that Lulu's juvenile antics and her feud with Brooke Lynn are the same old thing. As the fallout from the Gio secret continues to shake Port Charles, General Hospital spoilers suggest that Dante and Lulu's confrontation on Thursday will be explosive. Will Dante and Lulu be able to move on from this, though? Or is it the end of their story? Rory Gibson, who was Noah Newman on The Young and the Restless, will play Michael Corinthos on General Hospital. This week after Chad Duell took a vacation, the news came in. Rory's contract with GH is for 3 years. On social media, ABC fans responded to the news. See what people think about it by reading on Verifying the Way He Looks. What began as a whisper about the ABC show turned into major news. Rory Gibson later verified it by posting an article about it on Instagram. Gibson posted a picture of himself with 3 fist bump emojis but no caption. Even though the new Michael Corinthos didn't say much, his colleagues and admirers did. One among the first to comment was Laura Lee Bell. "So happy for you," she wrote. Melissa Claire Egan on YNR meanwhile exclaimed, "Yay Rory." Then Michelle Stafford, a former GH star who currently plays Phyllis Summers on The Young and the Restless, posted a series of red heart emojis and clapping hands. Rory's decision to bring back Michael Corinthos, who displeased viewers when he appeared in a horrible fire on the program, thrilled daytime drama aficionados. The show will not be returned by Chad Duell. I'm excited to watch you play Michael, one of them wrote. In Port Charles, his presence has been needed and missed. Here are some further enthusiastic followers. I'm really glad for you and am looking forward to seeing you on GH. There are moments when feelings are too strong for words. I'm really happy for you, and I hope your uncle, dad, and grandparents can see this. I cherish you. Anticipating your Michael, the TV star. Who is it? Some were open to giving Rory Gibson a chance in his new position, even if they had never heard of him before. He was born and reared in California, according to IMDb, and relocated to Los Angeles in 2018 to pursue a career in acting. He is well known for his parts in the upcoming Fugitive from Asteron and Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. In addition, he starred in Severed Road, Twisted Twin, Grace, and A Night to Regret. Even though some of these were short films, they added substance to his career. In 2022, Soap Opera Digest revealed that Gibson is the son of a deceased professional football player. One of the most interesting and turbulent love stories in Port Charles for a long time has been that of Dante and Lulu. Fans have seen them overcome innumerable challenges, such as personal betrayals and family conflicts, but their bond has always looked unbreakable. Until now. In recent episodes, Dante has been shown snapping at Lulu, leaving viewers to wonder if their romantic reunion has been irreparably ruined. Their love story may be facing its most catastrophic crisis yet, as seen by the emotional confrontation, which was unfiltered, powerful, and full of years of repressed annoyance. Dante and Lulu had been the quintessential pair for years. They always managed to find each other again, no matter what. Their love story was full of passion, heartache, and redemption, and their connection was indisputable. They were able to stand up for one another even when outside forces attempted to destroy them, whether it was Dante's clandestine work, the Cassadine family's manipulations, or Lulu's personal hardships. This most recent confrontation, however, feels different. This time it seems like the scars are more severe, the rage is more intense, and there is less chance of healing. For months, their tension has been rising as Dante grows more aloof while Lulu tries valiantly to maintain their previous relationship. His latest outburst was the result of years of unresolved pain, not just one disagreement or miscommunication. Lulu was accused by Dante of being self-centered, never really prioritizing their family, and making choices that consistently caused him pain. His tone was cruel, his words harsh, and for the first time Lulu appeared to be genuinely terrified by his rage. Dante was the stable, patient force in their relationship, but she had always been the one to act impulsively and push boundaries. However, he seems to have reached the end of his patience. The fact that their reunion had given followers hope only serves to heighten the sadness of this circumstance. It seemed like a victory to see them reunite after years of being apart, miscommunications, and lost chances. Because of how long their love had lasted, fans wanted them to succeed. However, that hope is now in doubt due to Dante's angry response. Was their reunion merely a brief reprieve prior to the ultimate collapse? Or will they eventually get beyond this challenge as well? In contrast, Lulu has always been a fighter. She is not one to give up quickly, particularly when it comes to the people she cares about. However, Dante's remarks struck a deep chord, and for the first time, she didn't know how to react. She has believed for years that Dante would always be there for her, no matter how terrible things got. She might now be understanding that even the purest love has its boundaries after encountering his icy rage. Whether their relationship can withstand this breakup is the current question. Some supporters contend that their love is too strong to be ruined by a single vicious altercation, and that this is simply another storm they will weather. There are others who worry that this could be the tipping point, when too much has been done and there is no turning back. Dante's outburst was a combination of sadness, fatigue, and betrayal in addition to rage. Additionally, their romantic reunion might be permanently ended if Lulu is unable to repair what has been damaged. Their children's presence and the effect this rift will have on their family only make things more difficult. Despite their own tense relationship, Dante and Lulu have always put their children first. However, their offspring will unavoidably bear the repercussions if they are unable to overcome this. Will the memory of their family be sufficient to reunite them, Or will it merely deepen their animosity toward one another? The impact of external factors is an additional factor. Meddling relatives, cunning adversaries, and unforeseen turns that destroy even the closest relationships are nothing new in Port Charles. The harm could be irreparable if someone with a grudge against Dante or Lulu uses this as a chance to permanently split them apart. However, there can still be a potential for reconciliation if their friends and family intervene to support their healing. The question of whether love is sufficient lies at the core of this dispute. Although Dante and Lulu have a deep love for one another, love by itself cannot make up for past wrongs, end in happiness, or remove grief. Both of them must face their shortcomings, accept the hurt they have caused one another, and determine whether they are prepared to battle for what they once had if they hope to save their relationship. For the time being, supporters are left wondering if this is really the end for one of the most adored couples in Port Charles. Years of repressed emotions ultimately came to the surface during Dante's outburst, which marked a sea change. It remains to be seen if it results in destruction or rejuvenation. However, there is little doubt that the consequences of this altercation will permanently alter their relationship. The anxiety is excruciating as fans wait to see what will happen next. Is Dante and Lulu's love tale over? Or will they eventually find their way back to one another? For now, their romantic reunion's future is uncertain, but only time will tell. The tale of Dante and Lulu's love has always been one of intense devotion, ferocious passion, and seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Everyone around them could not deny the electric connection they had from the first minute they met. However, their path has never been easy. They have had betrayals, separations, and tragic events that have changed their lives. Yet they have always managed to reunite. Dante's recent outburst is so heartbreaking because of this. This battle felt like the breaking of something that had once been indestructible. It wasn't just another conflict. For months, their tension had been building, a slow-burning bitterness and unspoken frustrations. At last, Dante, who had been the pillar of their relationship, the constant understanding presence, reached his breaking point. His rage was not limited to a single dispute or error. It was the result of years of suffering and the constant sense that he was the one making sacrifices and waiting for Lulu to put his needs ahead of her own. And it was more than just words when he finally let loose his rage. It was a damn cracking. Always able to respond with a scathing rebuttal or a fierce defense, Lulu was rendered incoherent. For the first time, she was unable to use comedy or passion to divert the situation or charm her way out of it. 'Cause Dante was done this time, not just hurt. He had a tired expression in his eyes, not merely one of rage. The kind of weariness that results from having a long and intense love for someone, and then realizing that love might not be enough to mend their damaged relationship. The fact that their reunion had been a hard-won triumph is what makes this moment so heartbreaking. They had finally found their way back to one another after all of the misery, deceit, and separations. Supporters celebrated, thinking that perhaps, just possibly, this time it would stay. However, it's clearly evident that their love story may be nearing its end given Dante's icy dismissal, and the way he turned away from her as though he couldn't bear to look at her. Can they recover from this? That is the true question. Certain relationships are like rubber bands. They always recover after stretching and breaking. Others are like glass, which can't be properly repaired with adhesive once it's broken. Even though Dante and Lulu have made it through a lot, this feels different. This is about the rifts in their own relationship eventually becoming too severe to overlook, not about other forces tearing them away. Lulu is a survivor at heart. She has a fierceness that defines her, and she has experienced danger, betrayal, and sorrow. However, she may not be able to win this struggle, because if someone no longer wants to be fought for, how can you fight for them? When they've heard it all before, how can you persuade the person who knows you the best that you've changed? Then there is Dante, who has always supported her despite the consequences. What does it mean for them if he has really reached his breaking point? Is it possible to recover from such finality? Or is this the point at which their love is insufficient to heal their separation? Their lives will be affected in ways they cannot yet fathom as a result of this clash. Everyone will be impacted by the aftershocks, including their friends, family, and children. And a love story that once seemed meant to last forever may come to an end if they are unable to find a way to heal, to listen to each other truly, and to face the wounds they have caused. Fans can only wait, hope and fear what will happen next for the time being. Because Dante and Lulu's love story would not only be harmed, but ruined if they are unable to reconcile this time. And that is a loss that is too painful to endure.